want to extend a huge, heartfelt thank you to Tara Nelson of Unseen to Irresistible. And a big thank you to all of you who are here with me today. So let's jump in and get started. So, when I was a kid, my parents were always fighting. And so I was always walking on eggshells. I came to believe that if I could just do everything perfectly, I could be good enough. Well, you know what? Perfect is impossible, and impossible is stressful. Stress and anxiety, it became my new normal, but normal doesn't mean healthy. I was only 46 when I collapsed on my basement floor. I'd had a stroke. I seemed young and healthy, but stress kills. My stress and anxiety made my blood pressure skyrocket, and that made my brain have a hemorrhage. Here I was, well established for over 20 years in the traditional medical community and also in multiple modalities of the healing arts. And I find myself learning how to walk and to talk all over again. So, having a stroke, it challenged everything I thought I knew. In fact, it challenged who I thought I was. Excuse me. Just imagine me in a wheelchair, in a nursing home at the age of 46. You might be thinking, I'm stressed, Sonya, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have a stroke. Well, this is true. I had an actual physical stroke. But let me ask you, what is your stroke? It might not look the same for you as it did for me. Because for some people, it shows up as belly fat. Stubborn weight that you can't lose, diabetes, high blood pressure. For other people, it shows up as brain fog. When you can't remember things, you have a problem with clarity and focus. For other people, it shows up as burnout, like total exhaustion. It's like when your stress and your anxiety and depression even, it just gets you in its grip. So here's the thing. Right now is the time to take action, right? I don't want to harp on this whole COVID-19 thing, but it's a huge deal in our lives right now. That's pretty much all you hear about anytime you turn on TV or anywhere you go. And it is probably something that in our lifetime, nobody else has experienced. This is pretty real. This whole stress and anxiety thing, it's only been a couple of weeks in lockdown, but it's really starting to affect a lot of people. And that stress and anxiety profile, it affects everything about our health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. See, situations in your life and in the world at large can be very disruptive, right? However, with every disruption, we have an opportunity to discover something better, maybe even something magical. Now stick with me here, because maybe you're on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe you're on a 10 feeling awesome at where you are and where things are right now. Maybe you're a 1, right? And maybe within one day you change from being more like a 1 to more like a 10. So I'm going to encourage you to look for the things you can do for yourself, self-care, to boost up your health and your numbers up and your mental health too. And I'm going to look for the ways you can kind of turn around your way of thinking, because a lot of this has to do with mindset. Can you look through what looks really horrible, scary, and negative into something that maybe could come out to be a positive? So for me, my magic moment, right, if you can call it that, but really, I was actually stuck in the nursing home at the time that it happened. So that was, I was really not happy to be there. And I didn't know if I had a way to get out or when that would be or what life would look like on the other side. But what I did see was that if I didn't disrupt the status quo, I would never discover my ZaZaZu. And I wanted my ZaZaZu. It might be ZaZaZu walking again, and it might be ZaZaZu in a wheelchair. Either way, I really wanted it back. Wait, let me back up a second. What is ZaZaZu? ZaZaZu is your own personal magic. It's your sparkle. It's that special you-ness that makes you uniquely you, right? So before we go any further, let me introduce myself. I am Sonya Sullins. I'm a life coach. I'm also a functional health coach. My big belief is that we all deserve to find ZaZaZu. We have one precious life here, and we should go through that life with as much ZaZaZu as we can. So what did I do? Oh my gosh, I'm like, once this came to me, I researched and I studied and I documented, I invested everything I could. And I did this for years to try to get to the bottom of what was going on, because what was going on wasn't getting me better. And I discovered that the reason for this really is that the mainstream is full of myths and misinformation. I mean, it is super confusing for anybody, right? But I spent years trying to sift through this confusion. And I am like, oh my gosh, if only somebody could have given me a recipe card, could have given me a process, could have walked me down a different path, I would have years earlier discovered my ZaZaZu and been able to fully live more of my life than I had. I felt like I'd wasted years. So all of this led me to develop the Disrupt to Discover method. And at this point, this is a message that I want to get out to as many people as I can, because it saves your heart when you know you can elevate to the level that you need to. So I have helped hundreds of women and men who are just like you. I've helped them to overcome their personal strokes and compress time and get them to the other side, to the side of ZaZaZu, way before they may have without this process. So in the next 20 minutes or so today, I want to share with you 3 strategies that will help you to discover your ZaZaZu. First, we're going to talk about optimizing your hormones to disrupt belly fat. Actually, optimizing hormones helps a lot of things, but we're going to talk about that. And how to feed your brain gratitude to disrupt brain fog, and how to balance your nervous system to disrupt burnout. Now, what I want to start with today is belly fat. So more and more of my messages, like my emails, my Facebook messages, my text messages, you know what's happening? People are gaining weight. It hasn't even been that long. And the belly fat is coming in. And, part of it is your depression, your mood, everything gets out of whack. Part of it is access. So in times of uncertainty, like now, again, back to the coronavirus, it does bring up a lot of fear and anxiety. And anxiety about the future comes up. Anxiety about what's going on right in the present. And even anxiety that goes back to our past, right? Past things that have happened kind of come along for the ride, and it can consume us, hijack our bodies and our brains. So the fact is, the COVID-19, this stress, this being hunkered down in your house, it has caused many of us to binge eat and to stress eat. So, think about it. You're socially distanced, which I don't like that term. I have one I like better, but I'll talk about that another time. You're socially distanced. You can wear your stretchy pants 24/7, and you're just steps away from your kitchen. What is this a recipe for? I mean, this is the perfect storm for weight gain and even declining health. But it does not have to be this way. What if instead you use this time to disrupt negative patterns and to discover how to manage your hormones, reduce your intake of sugar, conquer food addictions and cravings, even in the most stressful of times? because I want to share something else with you too. It's more than just vanity. I've sometimes beat myself up over wanting to lose weight because I'm like, I've got bigger problems. But it's more than just vanity. It's more than just fitting into your favorite jeans. This is you, your health, your ZaZaZu. Carrying extra weight, especially belly fat, has lots of negative health implications. But that's kind of a discussion for another time too. However, it is important to note that 3/4 or almost 75% of this nation's adults are in the category of overweight and obese. So you're not alone if this is something you're facing. But let me back up a second to the jeans that are too tight. Like I said, it's vanity in a way, but it's important because let's say there were no health implications, but the health implication of you not feeling confident and strong is an important health implication. How we feel about ourselves affect our confidence, our happiness, and how we show up in the world. It's part of our ZaZaZu. So what I really want to talk about now though is hormones and how that affects belly fat and what you can do about it. So here's the thing, my clients, they often find that their weight, right, it starts piling on and it won't budge no matter what they do. And this happens faster and more stubbornly when they're under stress, okay? So it feels like a vicious cycle because it is. As you cut calories, the scale goes up and up and up. It's not in your head, it's really what's happening. Stress makes cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. So stress makes cortisol increase. And too much cortisol actually does make you gain weight. It makes you fat. And too much cortisol stimulates your appetite. So you get a double whammy, right? So what else happens? There's more. Stress and anxiety cause emotional eating. And emotional eaters tend to binge. And binge on what? Too much sugar. When you eat too much sugar, your body produces too much insulin. And insulin is the fat storage hormone. So maybe you haven't struggled with weight gain yet, but if you have carb addiction, those pesky pounds are likely just around the corner. And this is what happened to one of my clients. Her name's Kathy. So she got cravings. She couldn't stop them. She just started nibbling, grazing all through the day. And then, even after she'd had a meal, she'd start looking for another snack. And she knew she was, going down a path that wasn't going to turn out as good for her because even with strict dieting and strenuous exercise, she was gaining weight. So she came into my coaching program, and the first step to working with me that she took was that she took my ZaZaZu health assessment online, and you can too. It's at SonyaSullins.com. But there's more. What else can you do today? Well, you can start tracking everything you eat in Carb Manager and then start whittling away the carbs to start whittling away your waste. Next, let's talk about brain fog. Do you have brain fog? I mean, maybe for you it's forgetting where you left your keys. Maybe it's not having the bandwidth to mentally organize or finish a project. Maybe it's that fuzzy feeling that makes learning new information really difficult. Brain fog can also cause anxiety, depression, and lack of motivation. And did you know that chronic anxiety also can cause brain fog? So what should you do? The same advice that I had for you in the last section on belly fat, it holds true here as well. So from that, I want you to remember these two things when it comes to brain fog. Reduce your cortisol and reduce your stress. University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio, okay, they did a study and they found that high levels of stress and the resulting high levels of cortisol, right, it increased memory loss and brain shrinkage. Memory loss, brain shrinkage. Folks, that means cognitive decline. And it happened in middle age. Like at the time that they did like the exit survey and results with this study group, they were 48 years old and already had memory loss and brain shrinkage. So keep in mind that in this high stress time, we're in it right now, and we likely will be in it for a little while yet. It's really, really even more important to have a strategy. So here's a little talked about fact, and it's something you can do starting today. Feed your brain healthy fat, not sugar. Healthy fat, not sugar. If you do that, you'll be able to balance your hormones, reduce your cravings, improve chronic conditions, and improve your brain health. So we talk in depth about this in my online coaching program, the Disrupt to Discover method. But for now, I want to move into another strategy that you can easily do for your brain. Rewire your brain for happiness, and do it with gratitude. I'll show you how. First, I want to tell you this quote. I love it. It's by Oprah Winfrey. She says, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough." Gratitude is said to be a natural antidepressant. This means it's a great stress reliever. It produces a feeling of, it's like long-lasting happiness, contentment. When we express gratitude, our brains release dopamine, serotonin. These are critical neurotransmitters responsible for our happy emotions. By focusing on gratitude every day, we can help the neural pathways strengthen themselves and ultimately create a super highway. And that allows us to kind of remain naturally in the state of gratitude and positivity and have it be part of us, within us. When we don't carefully curate the environment around us, we can be exposed to so much negativity, and we can't kind of pull ourselves out of it. We become negative too, and we don't even realize it's happening. So again, back when I was in the nursing home, like you can imagine, I felt helpless, I felt hopeless, I felt like a burden, and I was filled with negativity. It was eating me up inside, and I didn't have extra bandwidth to just be giving away my energy to negativity, but I couldn't seem to help myself. One day, as I was struggling down the hallway with my walker, one of the other residents, she stopped me and she's like, "Oh my goodness, dear. Oh, you're doing so much better. Just look at you. I remember when you first got here. Oh, you were in such bad shape." And there it was, folks. Wake up call. It was time for me to change some things and start some heavy duty gratitude work, because gratitude really does affect the brain. It reduces toxic emotions, pain, improves sleep quality, reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. So I take you through a number of strategies and exercises in my coaching program so that you can find what feels most comfortable to you and what's most effective for you. Well, I want to say almost all of my clients love this one. So your action step today, start a gratitude journal. Now, maybe you think this sounds silly. Maybe you've never done one. I mean, maybe you've done one your whole life. Maybe you did one and kind of fell off and don't do it anymore. No matter where you are, put this as a priority for you for right now. Put it on your list to do it, because you need to do it every day and do it consistently. The world thinks of negatives first. They protect us from danger. And it's a survival instinct to do that. So we have to consciously put gratitude number one. So I'm going to challenge you every day. Think of 10 things. Write them down, type them down, whatever works for you every single day. Now, don't worry if you repeat the same one. Don't worry if you don't even have 10 that you can think of, right? So I remember when I was feeling low and angry with the world, but that's a different story for another time. I was trying to do this exercise and I could not think of 10 things. And here I am being mad about the fact I can't think of 10 things. And I'm like, here we go. I got 10 fingers. It might sound trite and it might sound a little snippy, but you know what? Not everybody does. And in that second, I realized it. Not everybody does, and I do. And I am so grateful that I do. So it's okay to start small. Just start. So last, we're going to talk about burnout. It could be mental exhaustion. It could be physical exhaustion. It could be emotional exhaustion. Burnout is caused by excessive and prolonged stress. Okay? It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, unable to meet constant demands of your life. Now, maybe you're having an afternoon slump. Maybe you find yourself with a short fuse, snapping at basically everything. Or maybe you suffer from fatigue that keeps you wanting to stay in bed all day long. Remember how I felt when I was always walking on eggshells? And then when it became harder and harder for me to manage my stress and anxiety as the years went by, and then my blood pressure, it got so high that I had a brain hemorrhage. Well, you know what? I was in a serious state of burnout. It just all caught up with me. And I'm not an isolated incident. It is shockingly common. According to WebMD, 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are for stress-related ailments. The frustrating part for me at the time was that I knew I was having stress and I was doing everything I knew of to manage it. And it wasn't working. And just like when you diet and fail, like when you do pretty much anything and fail, you feel like a failure. And I don't know about you, but when I feel like a failure, that dramatically increases my stress and anxiety. Burnout was consuming me. I was gaining weight for no reason. I couldn't sleep at night, but I was exhausted every waking minute. I was irritable, sad, I had no motivation to do anything, and the list was long and getting longer. But I now know something that I didn't know then, and I'm about to share this little secret with you. It's something doctors don't really talk about, and it's powerfully impactful, and you can do it from home for free. It's a way to connect your body and your brain to fix burnout. We do this by improving something called vagal tone. You might be wondering, what is vagal tone? Well, vagal tone is an indicator of your overall health. It's said to be your ancient hidden pathway. It's part of your nervous system, and it connects your brain to your digestive system and actually connects out to all your different organs and systems of your body. It is known as your mind-body connection, and it has to do with your longest nerve in your entire body called your C10. High vagal tone makes you healthier, happier, and more resilient, better able to handle stress. And if you're really stressed out and you have trouble calming down after you experience stress, if you're kind of stuck in fight or flight, you have low vagal tone. So the vagus nerve sends signals to the brain to release the feel-good hormones, to activate those neurotransmitters that affect serotonin and dopamine and all the other kind of goodies, right? So when I said before, sugar releases those things, well, now you know that your vagal tone does too. So you can put away the sugar and activate your vagus nerve. And you can do it in a number of ways. Before we do that, I just want to share this with you though, just so you know that this is like a for real thing. The FDA has even approved of a surgically implanted device, and it periodically stimulates the vagus nerve, and that they use that for some really clinically resistant people because it works, but it is invasive. So here are some things that we can do that are easy and they're free. Okay, singing, humming, chanting, gargling, deep and slow breathing, meditation, probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, exercise, massage, socializing and laughing. Sorry about that with social distancing. And acute cold exposure. Okay, we don't have time today, but I guide my clients through a really cool exercise that uses methods 1, 2, and 3 all together in one technique. Now, many people really find that they feel an immediate change in their mood and in their calmness, but it's been proven scientifically that to use it consistently over time, it has amazing benefits on your overall health. So just to recap what we've covered today, get rid of sugar to get rid of belly fat, practice gratitude to get rid of brain fog, and improve vagal tone to manage burnout. Now, I just want to share with you that if you are interested in discovering insight into your inner workings, I offer a personalized ZaZaZu health assessment that you can take at SonyaSullins.com. Now, your individualized results are sent right to your inbox, and if you want to maximize your results, I also offer 1 hour of complimentary coaching. Again, just go to SonyaSullins.com. Before I go, I just want to leave you with this. Your future happiness and vitality, your ZaZaZu, it starts with what you do today. What will your life look like with ZaZaZu? I mean, imagine how you will feel confidently jumping in front of the camera. Imagine how you will feel when your memory never fails you. Imagine how you will feel when you are energetic and happy and fearless. You can do this, and I can help. And together we can elevate your health and your happiness. Who is ready for ZaZaZu?